Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to From the Gate podcast, where we bring you game, good times, and genuine conversation. I'm Lisi.
Shush.
Let's get it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for listening to From the Gate podcast. We are back with another episode where I am riding solo bolo on this one. Happy Valentine's weekend, y'all. Today's episode is a special one for all the lovers, the single lovers, the couple lovers, any kind of lover, you know, Mr. Lover. Mm. But this one's all about self-love and mental health. But these two words are something that has it's thrown around quite a lot. Like, you hear a lot of people talking more and more about mental health and getting your mind right and loving yourself. And while I was watching a clip about this guy who was interviewing NFL players and asking them the question, why Jesus? And one of the players, I think he plays for the Chiefs, but he was explaining how um why Jesus, why he like chooses to acknowledge Jesus through like his games and like when he plays and stuff. And it's because he felt that that's the best way to be able to love other people, is to be able to accept the love that Jesus gives. And Jesus even said, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. And he went on to talk about how important it is to have self-love, not in a sense where you love your flesh and you're loving the carnal things of this world, but in a sense where you are loving the person that God created you to be, and you are loving the person that God intended for you to be, and being able to be comfortable in your skin in doing so. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because that's something that I've been working through, I've been working on, and I'm just so grateful to the Lord for that understanding and being able to grasp that. And to be honest, whenever I've heard that scripture in prior days, like love your neighbor as you love yourself, I always ever looked at the love thy neighbor portion, where you always are having to do something for others, always having to contribute to other people's lives. And that's where love is always giving, always giving. And I didn't look at the latter part of the verse where it says, as you love yourself. And that's not to say it in a selfish way, but it's to say it in a way where you appreciate yourself as a child of God, or you appreciate the life that the Lord has given and the life that God has blessed you with. And so the term self-love, it gets thrown around a lot, to be honest. But how many of us actually practice it? I mean, I know I don't practice it. I'm starting to practice it more, and I'm starting to learn how to appreciate myself more and more. And more importantly, why does it matter just beyond feeling good? Because, sometimes self-love doesn't always feel good. Self-love can hurt too, because you're accepting criticism from yourself, basically. Because I know, for me personally, I down talk myself a lot, and I give myself a lot of crap very often. And so, taking care of ourselves, how does taking care of yourself make a society better? Because at the end of the day, that's what it is that helps a society to be better. You can't expect to be able to love your neighbor if you first don't appreciate what God has given you, the gifts that God has given you, the person that God has given you to be. And so, loving yourself, it's self-love is not selfish. Let's just kind of put that out there. This is something that maybe this can be a personal opinion, but self-love is not selfish. Mental health, it connects the world around us, and being able to understand how to show up for yourself is so important on so many levels. And so let's get into it, shall we, y'all? If you're not doing so yet, before we move on, please go ahead and follow, like, or subscribe on any of our social media channels. And if you are not following us yet here on From the Gate Podcast, please go ahead and click that follow button to get more updated episodes as we release them on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Let's get it. Yes, sir. But, self love, it's what is self love, really? Like, what really is self love? And so I kind of like broke it down into this little chart where I broke up like the fantasy, what I see self love as based on social media and what people are portraying on social media, and then the reality of self love that I have come to learn it to be. And so the fantasy version of self love that I see on social media, it's shopping sprees, spa days, bubble baths, perfect self portraits, perfect selfies, social media perfection, treating yourself. While that's all great, that's all great to do, but I think that's more self care than it is self love. Because the reality of self love that I have come to learn for myself is respecting myself, being more compassionate with myself, forgiving myself, and letting go of things that hurt me or make me feel a certain way, showing kindness to myself, and setting personal boundaries. And self love is a lot. Self love, I've learned, is taking the time to be like, Lise, what's going on, man? You okay? What's the dealio? Why you feeling this type of way? What's happening? And actually listening to the answer to that question for myself and taking the corrective action in order to turn that around or to change it. And something that I've seen from, I did another comparison on how I felt without loving myself. So no self-love, on the no self-love side, it's tolerating toxic environments, stress buildup, overexhaustion, overwork, leading to shutting down and running on empty. And then you look at, when I do practice self-love, I notice that I create balanced environments for myself. I'm more open to socializing, I'm more open to people. I'm able to set boundaries for myself. I live and I walk in forgiveness, and I'm able to operate on a full tank that helps others, which takes us into the next portion of this podcast, which is the mental health connection to self-love. And while we live in a society where we're constantly being told, you got to keep pushing, you got to keep grinding, you got to work, you got to work, you got to work, you got to work. Like Rihanna is saying, wow, 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 think me doing wow, 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 wow. Sorry. Don't judge me, y'all. But we come from a society that pushes the grinding agenda. But what I've noticed from just, I haven't been in the working force that long, but in the years that I did put into work, I saw myself exhausted. I saw myself stressed. I saw myself burnt out. And I've learned that it's more important to be balanced than it is to be burnt out. And mental health it's not about avoiding depression and anxiety. Like, those feelings will always come. Those anxious thoughts, those depressive modes, those will always come. Those will always be attacking you all the time. And it's not about trying to avoid being depressed or trying to avoid being anxious, or it's trying to avoid anxiety altogether. It's about being emotionally fit. So when those things do come, you're able to push through it. You're able to be resilient, and you're able to know how to handle the stress, handle the setbacks, handle the struggles without destroying yourself. And that's something that I've had to learn, is because a lot of times when I get stressed, I'm down, I'm out of it. I'm complaining, I'm talking smack, I'm talking, I'm bringing division amongst like the people that I work with. I'm creating an environment that nobody wants to be in, that nobody wants to be around, and it's just a more negative environment than it is a positive, uplifting one. And so when I'm not emotionally fit, I'm reacting out of anger and stress. I'm constantly exhausted with people, and I'm just like, nope, I don't want to be around people today because people piss me off. I mean, how many of us have felt that way at one point in time? And then you struggle to bring communities together, like your communities within your work, your community within your family, community within your friends, struggles to come together, and you just get fed up, just simply fed up with others. But when we are emotionally fit, we show up as better people for our families, for our friends, for our workplaces, for the communities that we're involved in, because we're emotionally fit and we're healthy. And healthy individuals make a healthy society. And that's just what it is. And that's where mental health and self love connect. Because if we are emotionally and mentally fit, then we are healthy enough to be able to handle the stresses, to handle the setbacks, to handle the whatever struggles that life throws our way, because we're always going to go through struggles. We all go through setbacks. We all go through times where we just feel like, frick, man, this is too much. I cannot do this. I cannot handle no more. So being able to have that mindset and being able to be in a place where your emotions and your mind and your body are all one and the same, working together, it it makes for a better individual, which helps to create a better society. Because you can't be a good person in society if you are constantly filled with negative energy. And that's where it takes us into the next section about how does self-love impact society. Why is it that I gotta be showing love to myself in order to be a better person in the society that I'm in? Well, simply put, self love impacts society in so many ways, but I'm just going to name four ways. One, better relationships. Two, more compassion and kindness. Three, less burnout, more productivity. And four, breaking generational cycles. Now let's look at each one individually real quick. Self love impacts society by building better relationships, because when you love yourself, because I've noticed this for me, when I love myself and when I'm showing love to myself, I don't tolerate toxic relationships. I don't, I tried, I not try, but I don't dwell in negative energy, which means I'm not bringing negative energy into other people's lives. I'm a better communicator. I'm better at setting boundaries, and I learn to respect others because I respect myself. But if I'm not respecting myself, I'm not able to show that same respect to other people because I don't even know how to respect. So that's how self love helps with better relationships. And as a Samoan, that's kind of one of the key values that we're constantly taught growing up is fa'aloalo, respect. And so being able to fa'aloalo to myself is so important. So that way I can show that same fa'aloalo to other people. Number two, more compassion and kindness. I mean, have you ever noticed that when you're feeling good and you're just in this like mode of just like, I just want to be better. Like I just want to give good things to other people. I just want to make other people feel good. You're more patient. And that's because when you are compassionate with yourself, you're able to be compassionate towards others, and you're able to love others in the way that Jesus loves us. And because you're emotionally well, when that happens, you're more likely to give positive energy versus negative. And self love, it breeds kindness. And when you breed kindness, that kindness spreads everywhere else. And then number 3, less burnout, more productivity. I notice for myself when I'm taking care of my mental health, I work smarter and not harder. And I noticed in different places that I've worked, when I am mentally healthy and happy, I notice that I want to perform better because I'm I'm happy with the company that I'm with. And communities that have mentally healthy people thrive even more so because there's balance. There's no burnout. People are not feeling overworked or overstressed. There's just like this perfect balance. Yes, there will be times where you have extra work that comes. Yes, there will be times where you do have those moments of like it's a little bit more stressful than the last week, but you're able to handle because you're mentally and emotionally fit. And that's what leads to productivity. And so being able to care for yourself. Just recently, I had I got a job at a certain place, and my mental, just in the first week that I was there, my I could not handle it mentally. The work I could handle, but the consistent like yelling, consistent belittling, consistent just nitpicking at the smallest things. I was like, nope, absolutely not. I need a job right now, but I don't need it that bad to where it's going to destroy my mental health and it's going to make me hate my work and it's going to make me exhausted and it's going to make me feel fed up with other people. And so I knew I needed a job, but I also knew that my sanity meant more to me, my peace meant more to me than getting a paycheck. And sometimes we have to walk away from those situations when that happens or when it comes up because that's just what it is. Some people may not understand it. You know yourself better than anybody else does. So if you need to walk away from certain situations or from certain people for your own sanity, for your own peace, do it. And number 4, breaking generational cycles, because when we learn to love ourselves and we learn to prioritize mental health and we pass down that knowledge to our nieces, our nephews, our kids, whatever it is, the next generation will know it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to rest. It's okay to have those boundaries. It's okay to feel my emotions instead of holding it inside and not saying anything about it, because I know growing up as a kid, I always held things in all the time. I was always bottling up my emotions, and I was always trying to force the happy version of myself out. So that way everyone saw, oh, Lisa's always happy, Lisa's always in good spirits, but really I was like battling things inside of me. You know what I mean? And so having kids and the next generation learn the importance of feeling your emotions and not bottling up your emotions is so key to being able to become emotionally fit and to become mentally fit. Because when we have a generation that is mentally and emotionally fit, especially in a day and time where social media is rampant and it's so much easier to get attacked from people all over the internet, especially when it comes to your self esteem and your self worth, it is very important to know that I don't need to hide the person that I am. I don't need to hold how I'm feeling inside. I can have a healthy conversation about this. I can have a moment where I can take a break. It's okay for me to set this boundary. It's okay for me to rest from this. And passing down that knowledge is so key to being able to create a generation that works smarter, a generation that is more compassionate and kind. And so, with that being said, what are some ways that you show love to yourself? Some practical ways that I found is setting boundaries, prioritizing rest, setting boundaries, prioritizing rest, talk to yourself like a friend, therapy or journaling. I do journaling, moving your body, getting that exercise in, or even just going for a simple walk, and saying no without guilt. So those are some practical ways that I've learned to show love to myself more. Once again, setting boundaries, prioritizing rest, talking to myself like I would a friend, journal, some might be therapy, moving your body, getting out there, moving, and then saying no without guilt. And so, in closing, guys, self love isn't about you. Let's get that straight. It's not something that's selfish. Self love is not about you, it's about all of us. It creates a community that has less stress, less hate, and more love, which is what I feel like we all need. We all need a little bit of love, a little bit of compassion, a little bit of kindness. So be kind, y'all. Be kind, y'all. Tell us your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Sass, you got anything else to add?
No, that's it. Let us know, man. We're on all social media platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Halaban, Jelagan, and Falavan. We're on all the gun.
Follow us on our socials. You can find us at From the Gate on all social media platforms. Check out our website, fromthegate.com. I'm your host, Lisi.
Success.
Deuces.
Gia.